Man, I kind of feel like playing Boneworks again, but it's really just for like the adventure aspect of it. I really don't want to play those mechanics or the physics system. It just feels so rough, and I don't know why I have these mixed feelings.
Well, it did a really good job of like it had content, right? It put you in a space and you're like, "Whoa, what is this world?" That and, like, I
Yeah.
can touch everything and like there's this weird thing going on with like the super VR immersion juice whatever.
Right, there's like a
Um
hint of a story. Like that definitely got me pulled in at first, but then the delivery of the story just really
right.
petered that out for me.
There's world building and that's kind of cool. But yeah, I just got, I only got into like maybe second level, like part of the way through the second level. The locomotion killed me in the first level. There's this one gym area where you have to get from the lower level up to the upper level.
The
And
whole
there's like I think
climbing
there's
section.
yeah, there's like a zip line, like an automated zip line you can grab onto, and like maybe a ladder. But there's also this like monkey bar 45-degree thing. And the first thing I do, because like it's encouraging you to play as if you're there, like you're in your body, it's physically simulated, that
Hmm.
kind of bullshit. And so like, what do you do if you're confronted with that sort of like playground monkey bar 45-degree incline kind of thing? Well, like you climb up so that you're on top of it and you're using your legs um and your hands to sort of like go on all fours up this thing. That's the easiest way to do it. But you can't control your legs in this game. So you try to get up onto it, and your body is blocking you from climbing onto this thing. Where if you were in real life, you would just use your goddamn legs to
Yeah.
stand on it. And that was the point where it just like clicked over in my brain. I was like,
Yeah,
"Fuck this game! Simulating stuff doesn't make it more immersive. It makes it less immersive."
I agree with when I played it the first time. I will note that they have like updated it, and I believe that was one of the problems that they addressed was like legs weren't crouching at the right threshold for climbing over stuff or something like that. So maybe it's been fixed. Like, so here's the weird thing, I guess, is like I want to play the game to experience kind of the whatever sort of story there is there, and maybe see if I could find more hints to like the greater story now that I like know more of it. But I guess like the setups. I guess that's what's pulling me in a sense is like sure the combat, the physical combat, I am not a fan of whatsoever, but the guns are serviceable enough that it feels like a full adventure game still, or it definitely does fit an adventure game like experience. Um, but yeah, when it comes to the climbing, like that that gym, I just went straight to the zip line because that was like the most fun thing. And then there was like maybe one zip line in the entire game, and I was like, what the hell? Like everything else is a jungle gym where I can't like pick my legs up at the right time. And that's just the curse of playing games at launch. But I guess
Yeah.
that's like a whole separate conversation because now when a game launches, they can have half their physics feel like ass or something, and then 6 months later a patch comes out and it's like an 8 out of 10, which like I'm all in favor of having a good game experience in the end, but uh there's something to be said about having a fun stable product when it actually is delivered.
Yeah, well, it honestly just strikes me as bad design. Like your game, take like specifically talking about Boneworks, right?
Right.
What are the cool parts of this game? Well, like the fact that you can push around objects in the environment and like, you know, put a box on a cart and push the cart and run behind it and use it as moving cover, or like, push over stuff in the environment onto people, like that kind of thing. That's cool, right? It's like I'm manipulating things with my hands. The whole environment is interactable. Love that. The thing that isn't compelling about your game is the fucking platforming with your stupid spring body, where it's like not it's like totally disconnected from how that works in real life. And it's super frustrating to like, oh, I missed this jump. I have to like go back around and do the whole thing again. Like, if you're going to do any sort of platforming, do platforming that only needs the hands and doesn't involve running around with the stick.
I don't know if I fully agree with that, honestly. I am okay with running around with the stick and like pressing the A button or doing some sort of like hand gesture to jump. But I am more so on the side of like the bad design comes from the lack of appropriate checkpoints and or world logic for checkpoints
Hmm.
because they're not okay. They have so much of a story in quotes, meaning you can only tell what the story is if you watch Game Theory or any other person who analyzes video games extremely far. Um, oh, they're sorry. So they spent all this time like having all these small details, and they spent all the time like with these physics engines, but then they didn't have the checkpoints, right? And again, holy shit. Again, this is only like a launch
How do
time
you
problem.
ship
This isn't
without
a problem anymore,
checkpoints?
dude. That's the thing. And I know, yeah, how
Yeah.
do you ship without checkpoints? But like they had I think it was like midway level checkpoint something. They had some sort of like very baseline, like really bad far between
Well, they
checkpoint
had
system
levels.
when they launched. And
Right.
then they released an actual checkpoint system. I think it was like 2 months, maybe 3 or 4 after release. What I'm saying, getting back to the bad design part, is just like the checkpoints needed to be there. The checkpoints needed to be more numerous. So like if I walked through the sewer system and walked up a ramp and now I got to walk through a long section that leads to a puzzle where I'm pushing a platform, like have a checkpoint at the top of that ramp so that if I fall off the platform, I could just like slap my watch Ben 10 style and teleport back to the checkpoint, right? Don't even their initial implementation of checkpoints, which I went back into Boneworks to play despite really not liking most of the gameplay stuff outside of the shooting and like interacting with things. Um, like I went back in and the checkpoints were okay at
Hmm.
best, like the very dot okay
Yeah.
text. Um, so I mean, I guess as we're talking about this, what I'm realizing more and more is like this team has made efforts to update the game after launch with like to make up for a lot of the mistakes they made. So maybe it's worth another playthrough to see how different it is from like the launch day I did a playthrough of it. Cuz I played through the whole thing like start to finish, and that's why I'm like so vehemently like against certain things in that game. Like I
Hmm.
wanted I guess like I played through the whole thing and I just wanted it for what it was trying to do. I wanted it to execute way better. And that's what really works me up. Cuz there were so many small things that they could have knocked out the park like low-hanging fruit, and they just didn't. But they've been working on it. So,
I don't know. For me, it's like more fundamental than that. And I don't want to sit here in my armchair and be like, smoking a pipe and critiquing their design because like it's hard, I know. But just to take the example of like that you gave of the ramp and then the checkpoint at the top, so if you fall down, blah blah, blah, that kind of thing.
yeah.
Like traversal's not the engaging aspect of this game. Why not just allow the player to like teleport up? Right? Like, don't allow teleporting in combat, but like allow people to skip traversal if they want to, or if they need to because they fell down.
But then you end up skipping a whole challenge. Like your game's not a platformer then cuz they're just able to get through
Well,
it.
I mean, don't that's a design problem you got to solve, right? Like maybe don't allow teleporting anywhere. Just add in like lots of ways for you. Once you get to the top, then you enable a thing, and if you fall back down, then you can teleport back up,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean that
right?
yeah, that's the example I gave. Yeah, sorry. I thought you were saying just don't even give the player that as an option.
Oh, well, and also like I don't know. I don't want to shit on it too much because I didn't even play that much of the game, and I think there were lots of interesting ideas in there. Like, did they ever play into the whole bullets or money thing very much?
Oh, I forgot about that.
Okay, so I take that as a no.
I mean, those vending machines are in every level, so
But are you compelled to use them?
yeah, like mostly at the start of levels. Like I don't really care about the collectibles in them, and I only care about the weapons that I like using. So yes, I do
Right.
care about them, but I don't grab ammo thinking, "Ooh, this is money," because really ammo is always just my defense.
Hmm.
Yeah, I kind of wish there was a different currency, but I don't want to get too much into that.